Slacktide by Elanor Dymott. Read by Lucy Briers. Prologue. Slacktide is the period of quiet water between flood and ebb currents, when there is no perceptible flow in either direction. Chapman Piloting and Seamanship, 67th edition. From Paris once, he brought me a miniature wind-up music box that played Bizet. His other present, which I'd asked for, was a leaf from the Tuileries Gardens. He slipped it in the pocket of my yellow moleskin diary, then traced its shape with a red pen and wrote the word, inside. Now, if I search for a date or a memory, I am caught by the bold red leaf. Just the tip of its twin emerges, dark green, and pressed flat by the year. His business was designing cities. He'd started out with houses, though by the time we met, he did that only for friends. I liked being able to call him my American architect, as if I'd hired him to build me a home. In the December that we were introduced by what he termed the accidental agency of my friend Susie, I turned 40. He was 52 and had been let go by his wife. One evening I left the library early and went to his apartment. "How much did you miss me?" I asked. "This much." He held his hands as if in prayer, then he moved them away from each other until they were behind his head. Making love to me later, he paused. "These are the parts I will miss most." He touched my underarms. "When you decide you're through with me." "Here," he said, drawing his fingers across my skin. "And here." When my broken heart was starting to mend, I went for lunch with my brother. "An architect and a novelist," Will said. "It was never going to work." "What do you mean?" "I mean, a big part of his job is drawing plans for buildings that will never be built. And a big part of yours is dreaming up non-existent people who you talk about as if they're real." "But they are real to me. When I write them, they are." "I rest my case," my brother said. "All the poor guy ever did was try out some ideas. You took him literally. You fell for everything he said." It's the pictures I paint that trip me up. This time, I sketched a hinterland from the line of a stranger's back as he stood in a cafe on a winter afternoon. When he turned and held out his hand and said, "I'm Robert, and you must be Elizabeth," I was unprepared for what was to come. By midsummer, the thing between us was finished, and it was as if a storm had torn the roof from over me. December. At a certain minimum altitude, perhaps a few feet above the ground, we must decide if we can see enough ahead of us to make the switch from instruments to visual flight. If we cannot, if we are still in cloud, or snow, or heavy rain, or fog, or whatever incarnation of high water might be impeding our view of the runway, then we abort the landing. Mark Van Honacker, Skyfaring, A Journey with a Pilot. I picked up Susie's message on my way to the library. "Can you do me a favour?" She was out of breath. "Or can you do a friend of mine a favour? No, actually, make that a guy I know. Can you do a guy I know a favour? We were supposed to go to a movie tonight. Tom is sick, so I have to stay home. So this guy, I can't explain in a message. I need you to be my stand-in. Call me. He's lovely. You'd like him. I'm taking Tom to the docks, but call." Frowning and smiling together, I phoned. "Are you crazy?" I asked. "Why would I go to the movies with a guy I'd never met?" "Why not?" she said. "I would if I hadn't had a relationship for 4 years. Sorry, Liz, I just meant—" She told me he was an architect, halfway through a divorce, or a separation, one or the other. A really lovely, polite, clever guy. Came across as quite mysterious, but he always seemed kind and nice. "How do you know him?" I asked. "Why are you meeting mystery guys? You're so married."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?